Hi, everyone. Um, Today and this week, we're going to learn about character traits and feelings. Traits and feelings are not the same thing, but there are ways that we can better identify them. Pay close attention so you will understand the difference between the two. What is a character trait? Understanding the difference between a trait and a feeling can be a little confusing, but we are going to learn how to distinguish the two. So, what is a character trait? A trait tells us who a character is on the inside. Traits are usually seen through actions and words. And what is a feeling? A feeling is a character's emotional response to the actions around them. How do I find character traits? Well, traits on the inside can be inferred through a character's thoughts, feelings, actions, and dialogue. Dialogue is the character talking and speaking in the text. Traits on the outside can be observed directly with your eyes. So that would be what a character looks like. They're physical traits. There are many adjectives that can describe character traits. Some examples of character traits will be below. Traits can be internal or external. They define a character's personality and physical appearance. Traits do not change quickly or at all. Internal traits are some examples are confident, athletic, bossy, nosy, shy, patient, sensitive, rude, determined, generous, brave. Some external traits are blue eyes, curly hair, broad shoulders, black hair, thick beard, short, wears glasses, strong, long nails, wears braces. So, how do we find character feelings? Well, you must watch for how characters respond when different situations occur. A character's reaction to a situation describes their feeling. There are many adjectives that can describe characters' feelings. Feelings are emotions brought on due to specific situations. They can change quickly. Feelings change over time depending on the event. Some examples of character feelings might be joyful, exhausted, jealous, scared, safe, confused, sad, happy, disappointed, embarrassed. Now we are going to focus on feelings. In a moment, I'm going to click to show a picture of someone you might know. Take a look at this person. Who is this? You guys know who this is. This is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. What feelings did Martin Luther King Jr. experience? And what events happened to cause those feelings? When he graduated from high school at the age of 15, he probably felt really proud. He was arrested several times during his protests for civil rights. During that time, he felt upset and angry. He met Coretta Scott King and later married her. They had 4 kids. Then he felt loved and happy. He learned that Rosa Parks couldn't sit in the front of the bus. He felt disappointed. He was the youngest man to receive a Nobel Peace Prize. He felt excited and honored. We've learned that situations and events that happen can change our emotions, and these are some examples. It's important to understand there can be multiple words used to describe feelings. So now let's focus on traits. Here's Martin Luther King Jr. again. What traits describe Martin Luther King Jr.? And what did he say or do to determine and support the traits? We've learned that traits describe someone and they can be internal or external. It's important to remember that you must have support for each trait you choose. So we know that Dr. Martin Luther King was hardworking because he studied a lot in school and skipped the 9th and 12th grades. We know he was caring because he fought for people's rights and equality. We know he was dedicated because he did not give up even when people treated him horribly. And finally, we know he was thoughtful because he said, "I have a dream," which affected many people. Character traits help us understand why characters act the way they do, predict what a character may do next, understand a character's relationship with other characters, and they help us draw conclusions about the story. We can prove traits using text evidence. It's not enough to simply state a trait of a character. You will have to look closely in the text to find proof that connects the character to the traits. Let's use proof to determine traits. Think about the story of the tortoise and the hare. You know the story where the turtle and the rabbit race. Okay. One trait that the hare has is he's really confident. Okay. And the proof, the text evidence is he decided he would take a nap while in the middle of the race because he is so confident he's going to win. He's also arrogant because in the text he said, "What a joke," he laughed. "I have plenty of time to beat the tortoise." He thought there was no way a slow turtle would catch up to him. He figured a short nap would not hurt. He never thought he would lose the race. So we can state the hare is confident and arrogant because we used proof from the text. Think about the text "Wemberly Worried" by Kevin Hankes. If you haven't read this text, you can pause my video and find a YouTube video of a read aloud of Wemberly Worried before we continue. In the text, Wemberly is worried and shy. She is worried about all things, big and small, and she was shy on her first day of school. That's our text evidence. Wemberly is also really friendly. We know that because in the text she was very nice and friendly when she got to school. She worried about everything, even though her parents told her not to. She did. She was especially worried about the first day of school, but it wasn't so bad. So we can state that Wimberly is worried, shy, and friendly, using evidence from the text. So now we're going to look at two images. I want you to think about these characters in their story. What word would you use to describe each character's trait? Think about the wolf in Little Red Riding Hood. What traits describe the wolf? You might be thinking that the wolf is sneaky, cunning, tricky, or creative. Okay. Now think about the little red hen. What traits describe her? In that text, the hen could be described as hardworking, determined, friendly, or fair. We can find traits by direct characterization. Direct characterization is when the author tells you exactly what the character is like. Here are some examples. Allie was a determined 3-year-old who knew exactly what she wanted. She was impatient and often got her way if she cried loud enough. So the author right in that text told you that Allie is determined and impatient. Those are her traits. Here's another example. Carol was friendly and kind. Even when customers were angry on the phone, she was helpful to them and always smiled. People loved her. So again, right in the text, it tells you that her traits are that she is friendly, kind, and helpful. But a lot of the times, we learn about characters through indirect characterization. That's when the author will sometimes show you what a character is like by revealing words, actions, appearance, thoughts and feelings, and other characters' comments and reactions. Let's talk about words. We get to know characters through what they say to each other. Here's an example. Amy smiled from ear to ear and gave Sue the biggest hug. You are an incredible friend, and I want to thank you for being there for me, Amy said. I don't think I could have stood up for myself without you. So through words, we can infer that Amy is thoughtful, compassionate, and appreciative. Let's read this and think about what we can learn about these characters. Chris stepped off the bus and whispered to his friend Ted, "My heart is beating super fast. This happens every single year on the first day of school," Ted said. "It's going to be a great day," Chris replied. "I am sure it will be, but I can't get rid of these knots in my stomach." We can infer that Chris is bashful and shy because of the words he said, and we can infer that Ted is encouraging and supportive. Now let's talk about actions. We can also get to know characters by observing what they do. Let's look at this example. Carly took a deep breath and slowly pet the snake. She could hardly stand to look at it, let alone touch it. She jumped backward at the sight of her brother, feeding it a rat. Carly covered her eyes and mouth and ran off. So, through her actions, we can infer that Carly is timid, squeamish, and apprehensive. Let's read this text and figure out what we can infer about the character through their actions. Chase couldn't wait for his sister to turn the corner. He jumped out from behind the door and scared her. Later, he put toothpaste in her shampoo bottle, put sugar in the salt shaker, and hid her homework. Brilliant, he thought. He was already planning what he would do next. Through this text, we can infer that Chase is a prankster and funny. But maybe he is mean, according to his sister. We can also get to know characters by observing their appearance and their facial features, body language, mannerisms, and the clothes they wear. Let's check out this example. Ed was the head rancher on the farm. Every day he gathers the horses and can be easily spotted wearing his white hat and vest. Ed's smile is a mile wide, even with his bushy mustache. He stops to wave hello to welcome everyone he meets. So through his appearance, we can infer that Ed is cheerful, dedicated, and friendly. Let's read this paragraph and see what we can infer about the character through her appearance. Karen wore an elegant dress lined with diamonds and rarely wore a smile on her face. She rolled her bright green eyes anytime someone tried to talk to her. She often ignored others unless she wanted something. Shoo, go away, she motioned with her hands. We can infer that Karen is arrogant and stuck up, and she's also self-centered and unkind. We can also get to know characters through their thoughts and feelings and by getting inside of their minds. Let's take a look at this example. Carl looked at many different parks around town. This would be the safest place to play ball with Mia, he thought. Why isn't she throwing the ball? She must be tired or something. He wondered, running over to check on her. Through thoughts and feelings, we can infer that Carl is patient, concerned, and playful. Let's take a look at this second example. Gina sat down next to Ben. If I don't pass this test, I won't be able to play on the volleyball team, she thought. She picked up her pencil and focused her eyes on Ben's paper. He is the smartest kid in class, she reminded herself. He was the reason she always passed her tests. We can infer through her thoughts and feelings that Gina is dishonest, and we can also infer that Ben is smart. Finally, we can get to know characters through other characters' comments and reactions. We can get to know characters by hearing what other characters have to say. Let's look at this example. You won't even believe what Ava did yesterday, Lauren said to her sister. We went into Macy's. She pushed all the women aside and demanded that the sales lady help us immediately. I was so embarrassed. Through others' comments and reactions, we can infer that Ava is pushy, demanding, and rude. Let's look at this second example. All the boys and girls smiled big when they learned Miss Craig would be their substitute teacher for the week. She's so nice, Amy whispered to Ken. Yeah, and she is easy to talk to, he replied. She helped me a lot. So we can infer that Miss Craig is friendly and kind and helpful and considerate. Let's practice determining character traits. Pay close attention to what the text says is happening so you can prove the trait. Emily earned $40 by doing chores and walking the neighbor's dogs. She really wanted to buy a new bracelet, but she decided to take her friend Kyle to the movies. He never went to the movies because his family couldn't afford it. They enjoyed the popcorn, candy, and sodas. Emily couldn't have thought of a better way to spend the money she earned. What trait best describes Emily? I think through this text, you can determine that Emily is hardworking, determined, kind, caring, generous, or compassionate. Let's try another one. Tommy got a new skateboard for his birthday. Even though he had a helmet, he chose not to wear it. He hopped on his skateboard and took off. He skated down the street extremely fast. He swerved left and right without slowing down. When a boy rode by on a bicycle, Tommy tried to race him. What trait best describes Tommy from this text? I think this text shows that Tommy is a little dangerous, risky, daring, adventurous, and competitive. Okay, let's try one more practice. If you saw Tori, she would probably have her hands on her hips and could often be heard saying, "Don't do it that way, do it like this. Get off of that. Don't touch it. Get away from there. Go over there, now." Her little brother and sister always hated when their mom and dad left the house and left Tori in charge of them. "Give me that," Tori snarled. What trait best describes Tori? You might say Tori is sassy, bossy, independent, or unkind sometimes. Okay, and that is all I have for you today on character traits and feelings. If you have any questions or you're confused about anything, just send me an email or a text or call, and I would be happy to help you.